The psychology of people who always feel behind in life. Some people are not actually behind. They're just measuring their life against someone else's timeline. They look around and feel like everyone has already arrived somewhere. Someone is getting married. Someone is buying a house. Someone is building a career. Someone is moving to a new city. Someone is starting a business. Someone seems confident, stable, successful, and certain. And then they look at their own life and quietly wonder, why am I still here? Why am I still figuring things out? Why am I still confused? Why do I still feel like I am starting over? Why does everyone else seem ahead of me? And the painful part is they may not even be doing badly. They may be trying. They may be growing. They may be surviving things nobody sees. They may be carrying pressure, fear, exhaustion, family expectations, financial stress, emotional wounds, and silent responsibilities. But because their life does not look the way they thought it would look by now, they feel like they have failed. They feel late, behind, delayed. Like everyone else got the instructions for life, and somehow they missed the lesson. But maybe they're not behind. Maybe they're just comparing their private struggles to someone else's public progress. Because when you compare your inner life to someone else's outer life, you will almost always feel like you are losing. You see their announcement, but you do not see their anxiety. You see their relationship, but you do not see their loneliness. You see their career title, but you do not see their burnout. You see their confidence, but you do not see the nights they question themselves too. And if you keep measuring your life against carefully selected pieces of other people's lives, your own journey will start to feel smaller than it actually is. That is how social comparison works. It does not always motivate you. Sometimes, it quietly convinces you that your timing is wrong. You start thinking, at my age, I should already have more. I should have more money, more direction, more discipline, more confidence, more experience, more proof that I am becoming someone. And slowly, life stops feeling like something you are living. It starts feeling like something you are constantly trying to catch up to. You wake up with pressure in your chest. You scroll and feel behind before the day even starts. You see someone's success and feel ashamed of your own pace. You try to rest, but rest feels like wasting time. You try to celebrate small progress, but your mind says, that is not enough. Because people who always feel behind often carry an invisible timeline inside them. A timeline of where they thought they would be. By this age, I should be successful. By this age, I should be healed. By this age, I should know who I am. By this age, I should be stable. By this age, I should not still be struggling. And when real life does not match that imagined timeline, they do not just feel disappointed. They feel ashamed. They feel like something is wrong with them. But life does not unfold in one perfect order for everyone. Some people grow early. Some people bloom later. Some people look stable young, but fall apart later. Some people lose years to survival, grief, depression, family problems, fear, poverty, trauma, or simply not having the right support. Some people spend their 20s healing from what happened in childhood. Some people spend their 30s learning how to stop people pleasing. Some people do not discover their real path until after they have already walked down the wrong one. And that does not mean they are late. It means they are human. Because not everyone starts from the same emotional place. Not everyone begins life with the same safety, confidence, money, guidance, family support, or nervous system. Some people are not slow. They were carrying more weight. Some people are not lazy. They were overwhelmed. Some people are not confused because they are weak. They are confused because they spent years becoming who other people needed them to be. And now they're finally trying to hear themselves. That takes time. It takes time to build a life that is actually yours. Not the life your parents expected. Not the life society rewards. Not the life that looks impressive online. Not the life that makes other people comfortable. Your life. And maybe that is why you feel behind. Because some part of you is still grieving the version of life you thought you would have by now. Maybe you thought you would be further. Maybe you thought you would be more confident. Maybe you thought you would have found your purpose already. Maybe you thought healing would be faster. Maybe you thought success would come earlier. Maybe you thought love would be easier. And when those things did not happen on time, you blamed yourself. But maybe the timeline was never fair to begin with. Maybe you were measuring your life using a standard that did not include your pain. It did not include what you survived. It did not include the years you spent trying not to fall apart. It did not include the courage it took to keep going when you had no clear direction. It did not include the emotional work nobody clapped for. And maybe that work matters too. Maybe learning how to trust yourself is progress. Maybe leaving something that was hurting you is progress. Maybe starting again is progress. Maybe becoming more honest about what you want is progress. Maybe not giving up on yourself, even when you feel lost, is progress. Because progress is not always loud. Sometimes progress looks like finally admitting you are tired. Sometimes it looks like choosing peace over approval. Sometimes it looks like no longer forcing yourself into a life that does not fit. Sometimes it looks like moving slower because you're moving more truthfully. And that matters. You are not behind just because your life does not look like someone else's. You are not behind because you are still learning. You are not behind because you had to start over. You're not behind because you needed more time to become yourself. You are not behind because your path is quieter, slower, or less visible. Maybe you are not late. Maybe you are on a different rhythm. A rhythm that had to include healing. A rhythm that had to include mistakes. A rhythm that had to include pauses, losses, lessons, and new beginnings. And maybe one day you will look back and realize that the years you called behind were actually the years that were preparing you. Not punishing you, not delaying you, preparing you, teaching you what you do not want, teaching you what matters, teaching you how to stop chasing a life that only looks good from the outside. So the next time you feel behind, pause. Do not ask, why am I not where they are? Ask, what has my life been asking me to learn at my own pace? Because you're not living their story. You are living yours. And your story does not have to happen on someone else's schedule to still become meaningful. Maybe you are not behind in life. Maybe you are finally learning how to stop abandoning your own timing.